This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hi team. In the last session, we have discussed about the annotations, like what kind of annotations we have. Nine annotations we have seen, right? So, what's the use of it and when we can use it? Those things we have discussed. Now, today we are going to discuss something called TestNG listeners. What exactly this TestNG listeners is all about? Okay, so you can see there are several interfaces that allow you to modify TestNG behavior. That means, for example, you have five test cases. A test case can fail at any given point of time. So we are not sure, right? So maybe because of exception, maybe because of asset that you have written. So a test case can fail anytime, can skip anytime. We are not sure exactly what happens when the execution starts. We cannot predict also which one is going to fail, which one is going to pass. Okay, so what is my requirement on fail? I want to take a screenshot, or for example, on fail, if anything test case is failing, I want to track it, and I want to log it in the log file. I want to put it in the log file. Okay, so how can I do these things? On skip, I want to do something. On failure, I want to do something. And if the test case pass, I want to log it in the log report, or my extend reports are anywhere. Okay, so how can you do these things? Okay, so as I said earlier, we have something called TestNG listeners, where this will be listening to your execution. Okay, while executing, they are kind of tracking what exactly happened. For example, if a test case fail, that particular specific method will be invoked. Okay, so in order to do that, first you need to implement the listeners that is present in the test ng. There are there are different listeners are there. We are not going to use everything, but yeah, of course, something like I test listener, maybe I reporter, maybe, or else or you can say I invoked method listener, or else I annotation transformer, which is very very important. Those kind of things we are going to implement. Okay, so every interface here defined over here, you can use any one of them. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my first listener, that is called as iTest listener. Okay, so here how to implement that we are going to see today. I'm declaring, I'm creating one class over here. I will name it as my interface. You can give any name, my interface implementer, my interface implementer. So here I will simply say implements, and then our listener name. Okay, so here you can see import from testng.org, and we all know whenever we implement any interface, this class has to take the responsibility of implementing all the methods present in this particular interface, right? So what I will do, I will add all unimplemented methods. Okay, now you can see there are plenty of methods present inside of this particular interface, right? So on test start, on test success, on test failure, and test script. That means for example, if I write any code over here, if any test case is failing, expectedly or unexpectedly, doesn't matter, it will come over here, it will execute this piece of code. That means whatever I write inside of this code will be executed whenever a test case fail in your suite. Okay, out of 100 we cannot expect, maybe one to any number of test cases can fail, but on fail, if you want to do something, yes, you need to implement this particular iTest listener. Okay, for example, what I'm going to do, I have five methods. Intentionally I will try to fail two methods. Okay, for example, this one, let me fail set dot set true, and let me make it as a false. Okay, similar fashion, I will fail the method b also. Okay, intentionally. Okay, now in this case, method E is going to fail, method B is going to fail, but I want to know which method is failing. Okay, I want to track it. Okay, so here in order to do that, we have one method and test value. That means if it is saying that, hey boss, if you want, if any test case is failing because of any reason, I will be definitely executed. You write your code over here so that you can use it like a tracking purpose, or you can take a screenshot kind of thing. What I will do here we have one parameter results dot maybe get name, I guess. Okay, get name. Okay, so get name, or else you can say something like this: method get name has failed. Okay, you can write a piece of code to take the screenshot also, it shouldn't vanish. Okay, now has failed, we can take a screenshot. I'm just adding the statement only. You can take screenshot. Okay, in the similar fashion, for example, let me say D, I'm gonna skip it. Okay, D, I'm gonna skip it. How to skip the execution? Throw new skip execution. Throw new skip execution. I will be skipped. Okay, so if any test case is getting skipped, okay, I want to do something. So here also same thing, you can see I will copy paste this one, and you can see on test script. That means whenever a test case is getting skipped, this particular piece of logic is going to be executed. Okay, so here you can say skipped writing to the log file. Here we are not writing, I'm just telling that we are just writing to the log file. Writing to the log file. Okay, on pass, do we have do you want to do anything? Yes, we can do. For example, has passed, we can write to extent report. I'm just saying that extent extent report extent report. That's it, guys. So we have implemented the listener. We have implemented the listener. All we need is we need to include this in the XML. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the XML file. Right click, convert to TestNG. Here, let me give the name as 6. Next, and then finish. Okay, now if I run the program, let's see that particular interface will come or not. Okay, so here I'm just running the program, run as TestNG suite. It is loading, guys, 1 second. Okay, now you can see as expected we got 2 success. Okay, you can see passed 2 and failed 1, skipped 1 and failed 2. But here in this particular output we did not see anything, right? So because we do not have anything, whatever we have written over here, method has failed or not, passed or not, nothing information is there. Okay, so in order to do that, first we have to inform that we have to inform the testee saying that, hey boss, I have implemented the interface of iTest listener. Please add it into your execution. Please start doing the tracking of it. Okay, so here what we need to do, listener. Okay, you can see, if you see over here we have something called listeners. Okay, so in the listener you need to provide which listener you have implemented. You can see listener. Okay, class name, which class name is that? Okay, so here what I will do, I will copy this and paste it over here, and name of the interface, right? So here this is the name, right? So simply come over here and specify like this. That's it. Now you're telling that, hey boss, I have implemented my interface implementer while executing these tests. Okay, so please include this one so that whenever any test case is failing from this test, and it will listen to the execution. Okay, so now I'm running the program. Now you can see method welcome. You can see method B has been failed. You can take the screenshot. Every method which is passed, you can see a method A is passed and writing to the expert. And this one, method D, has skipped writing to the log file. and method E has failed, we can take a screenshot, right? So in this way, you can implement the listeners and you can customize your test engine. Okay, so this is very important, guys, because we are not sure when you're running the test scripts automation, right? So we do not know at what point of time test case may fail. So in that case, if you write anything in the untest failure, like taking the screenshot, what happens, it will automatically take the screenshot, and it may be helpful why it got failed sometimes. Okay, so it will also very useful if you want to track at a log level, log4j. By using log4j, you can log to the log files, or else you can use it in the extend report also, which one is passing, which one is failing. Okay, so like this you can implement the TestNG listener. Okay, so this is one of the listener only, guys. There are plenty of annotations. The other listeners are present in the TestNG.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now we have seen uh, on test success, on test failure, on test script. Okay, now similarly we have other methods, guys, like on test failed but within success percentage. I'm not sure about this method, I never used it also. Okay, and we have three more important methods, guys. This one on test start, on finish. Okay, what I will do, I will copy this line of code. Okay, and let me paste it over here like this, and we'll see when each and every method is going to be executed. Okay, so here now, method on start, on test start, right? So let me say on test start, on start, and then on finish. Okay, so here for on test start, let me add these stars here like this, so that we can identify easily. On finish also, let me say like this. Okay, and for on test start, let me add something like this, so that we can identify easily in the console. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the this particular testng XML file and see when each and every method is going to be executed. Okay, now you can see this one star, right? So we could able to see only one time. Okay, so which one is that? This one on start. Okay, and also we should have two more things, right? One second. Here let me give the name as IE test, IE test execution. Okay, let me run one more time. Okay, now you can see IE test execution, how many number of times it has been repeated. Okay, this one. Okay, now with this, what did we understand? Okay, so here this one on start and on finish. Okay, come over here. On start, on finish, these two are nothing but a whenever a test is getting started, whenever a test is getting started, this particular method will be invoked, and whenever a test is completed, this particular method is going to be executed for us. You can see it has started only one time here in the beginning of this one, and here in the beginning of this one, and also it is giving you the name also, which test it is getting started. Okay, so now here you can add it in the report saying that, hey boss, this method is going to be started. Maybe kind of you can say, before if you want to have a separate log files or HTML files for IE execution, for Chrome execution, yes, this is the best place to write your code, to separate the code. Okay, and how about this one? um, Here on test start, so here you can see before starting of each and every method, this is getting executed. Okay, so like this you can, if you have any prerequisite kind of thing, yes, you can add it. You may get little confused with the annotations, because we have these two are there. but still we have before test and at the rate after test also. Okay, these are all available in the listeners, and you can also get some parameters to work with. Okay, there you don't find any parameters. If you want to add, you can also add the parameters over there. But yeah, this is the best place to write the logic where on test, if you want to write any logic on finish, you want to do anything. This is the one. So like this you can implement which method you want to use. You can use that, and which method you don't want to use, that you can ignore that. It shouldn't be an issue. Ignoring means you cannot stop it from implementing, because you have to implement each and every method given in the test design, otherwise it will give you the error. Okay, if you don't want to unimplement it, just write the method, but don't write any code inside of it. Okay, so like this you can work with the TestNG listener. The listener we have discussed this I test listener.
This conference will now be recorded.
uh, Team, just now we have seen I test listener, right? So we are going to see the another listener that is called as I invoked method listener. I invoked method listener. Okay, so let's see how we can implement this. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm just copying this, and let me create a new class. Here let me give, for example, my interface implementer 2, because it's already one is present, right? So I'm just giving this 2. Okay, so here finish, and then implements this method, and now import it, and then after that add unimplemented methods. How many methods are there? Only two methods are there. Only two methods are there. Okay, before invocation and then after invocation. Okay, for example, if you want to track before each and every method what should be done. Okay, so kind of thing, let me show you what exactly when this one particular method will be invoked. Okay, so here system.out.println system.out.println star for example, method dot get name, method dot, I think it should be get test method, or else we can use I test results. It shouldn't be an issue. Dot get name. Okay, so has started is going to start, not has started, is going to be started, is going to be started. Similar fashion, let me write after invocation. Okay, so here let me give there something return hash, and then has completed execution, has completed the execution. Now what I'm going to do, we need to implement in the similar fashion. Okay, so I'm just commenting it out, and let me write the listener. Okay, so here same method, listeners, and then after that we need to specify which listener you have implemented. Okay, so here listener, and let me provide the name as, name of this particular interface is what, this one, right? So let me take this one and let me add it over here. Okay, so that's it. What we can do, we can run the program now and see when this particular method is going to be executed. You can see before starting off each and every method, you can see A is going to be started, A is executed, and A has completed execution. Similar fashion, before starting off any method, this particular method is going to be invoked before invocation. That means the name itself is indicating before method. If anything is, if anything wants to execute, you can add it over here. This is pretty much close to before method, at the rate before method, and at the rate after method, but there is a difference. Okay, what is that is, for example, if I add before method, at the rate before method, public void, and let me give it as login to application or launch application. Anything is fine. Launch application. Okay. I'm just copy pasting this one. Okay. Now, if I run the program, let's see what happens. So now we need to understand whether before method is going to be executed before the iterate before method or not. Okay, let's see that. I'm just running the program and see what is the output we are going to get it. Okay. Now you can see launching the application is going to be started, right? So we might have understood now what is the difference between iterate before method and iterate after method. So this one before method is getting executed before each and every iterate test, but the one which is mentioned in this particular I invoked method listener, right? So this one is executed before each and every annotation that is present over here. Maybe either it before method, maybe either it before test. Okay, so before method also, this particular method will be executed. So that means every annotation, this will consider it as a method and it will execute it. Okay, this is a one, one more, this point you need to understand the difference between before invocation, after invocation, as well as before method and after method. Okay, so this is how it will work. Okay, I hope it is clear, guys.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now we have seen I test listener and I invoked method listener. And the third one we are going to uh, implement is very important, that is called as I annotation transformer. Okay, so this is a very powerful listener that I have seen in TestNG, where you can completely control the execution of the each and every method present in your classes of different packages. Okay, you can completely control using this. Okay, so we are going to see now what I will do. I will create new class here. Let me give as my interface implementer 3. Okay, so finish, and here we have to use implements, the name of it. We need to import it. Once the import is done, and if it is asking us to add an implemented method, there is only one method, guys, but very powerful one. Okay, so now these two are duplicate, I guess, I'm not sure. Okay, so but yeah, let's see how can I control the entire execution from here. Okay, so in this TestNG2 we have 5 methods. I want to control at runtime. For example, you have 500 test cases. Okay, I'm just commenting it out because these are all not needed for me now, and this one also. Okay, now what's my requirement is there are 5 methods are there at runtime. I want to decide which test case to executed, which test case to not executed, and how many number of times do I want to execute. You do not have any control, right? For example, if you don't want to execute method D, you will come over here and you will simply say enabled equal to false, or else you go to testng xml file and you can exclude that. Okay, for example, I want to execute this method for 5 times. What you have to do, go to this particular method and say invocation count equal to 5. But runtime, I want to do it at runtime. When the execution starts, then I want to instruct the test engine saying that each and every behavior at runtime I want to apply. This is nothing but a behavior of it, right? For example, enabled equal to false, you're ignoring the test case and you want to skip the test case. Anything, if you want to do anything, I want to apply at runtime. I don't want to touch either the classes or the xml method, but I want to completely control the execution of it. So how can we do that? Okay, so in order to do that, we have to implement this I annotation transformer. So by using this transform method, we can implement that at runtime. We can decide which test case to run, which test case to not to run. Okay, for example, if I say here this one I annotation dot, we have any name, 1 second, not this one, method name, this one, I guess, 1 second. Okay, get name. For example, if okay, get name dot equals. Okay, for example, at runtime, I don't want to execute, for example, method e. Let's assume. Okay, so here, if method equal to e, what I will do, I will simply say annotation dot set enabled equal to. Okay, at runtime we are deciding, guys. This one at runtime we are deciding. For example, set enabled equal to false. Else I will say set enabled equal to true. Okay, now this seems like simple, but this is a very powerful, guys. At runtime means this I am hard coding here, but at runtime I can also read it from the Excel file. For example, in the Excel file I have A B C D E I have mentioned. From there you can control it. That is also we are going to see now how we can do that. Okay, for time being I'm just specifying that if method name dot e, please don't execute that. Okay, in the similar fashion, uh, for example, if method name is d, okay, if method name is, for example, c, I want to execute for 5 times. So what I can do, annotation dot set invocation count. You can see powerful method, guys. So you can specify the number of times you want to execute. For example, I want to execute for 3 times, right? So that's it. You can apply every tags, I mean the relevant tags we have seen over here. Everything you can apply in this particular transform method. Very, very powerful. And you can also read the data from the Excel file. From there you can control. For example, you have 100 test cases. Imagine manipulating in class level and XML level, very typical. But if you have Excel file, right, so you can have execution flag whether you want to execute or not, yes or no. That will be easy. Okay, that is also we'll see, but time being I'm just writing these ways. Okay, so now e method should not be executed at any cost, and c method should be executed for 3 times. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will copy this and I will paste it, and here this should be 3, right? So because in this way we can add multiple. It is not mandated that every interface should be written in the different class. In order to avoid the confusion, I'm just writing in the different classes. But what you can do, you can simply say class my implementer, my interface implementer implements. You can see this name comma the other interface name comma the interface. As I said earlier, you can implement the multiple inheritance in Java through interfaces, right? So that can be possible. Okay, so here I will add 3 because in this 3 only I have implemented the transform method, right? So I'm going to run the program and see what is the output we are going to get it. Okay, now it is not coming. 1 second. My interface implementer 3. Okay, we got the output, guys. So here E, you can see I don't find any method E. Okay, first thing. Second thing, C should be executed 3 times. You can see 3 got executed 3 times. Okay, that means entirely you can at runtime you can decide what should happen to each and every method. Okay, so before starting up the test execution, it will prefers the transform method. So this one will take care of the entire execution. So it will decide which one to execute, it will decide which one to not to execute. You can see the annotations are given to you, like set enabled, set invocation count, set a timeout, everything. If you want to set the data provider also at runtime, if you want to provide any data type, you can see annotation dot set a data provider. The name of the data provider you can specify, the name of the data provider class where it is implemented, that is also you can specify. Everything you can specify using this annotations parameter. Okay, this one will give you the name of it. Okay, so at runtime we can decide which method to execute, which method not to execute. Okay, this is very, very important, guys. We will also see how to take the data from the Excel file. We will specify these 5 methods. We'll specify these 5 methods in the Excel sheet. From there, we can specify true or false tag, and then we can do that. Okay. So time being, just now it just only transform method where it will completely dynamically at runtime it will decide which method to execute, which method not to execute. Okay. Thank you, guys.
This conference will now be recorded.
Uh, Hi team. We have seen uh, at runtime how to decide which one to execute, which one to not execute. But this one is also very typical, right? So writing, for example, you have 100 test case, you don't want to execute 20, you cannot come over here, you cannot add 20 if conditions, right? It's not possible. So what we can do, we can take it from the Excel sheet. We can take it from the Excel sheet, and then we can decide whether this particular method should be executed or not. So how many times it want to execute, those kind of things you can do it. Okay, let's see. Let's add these 5 methods in the Excel sheet, and let's decide which method to be executed, which method to be not to be executed. Okay, for that particular thing, I need to create an Excel file. Okay, so here this is my Excel file. Let me save it in this place. Here the name you can give, for example, run manager, because this is controlling the entire execution, right? So run manager, say finish, and this one should be rm. You can give any name, it shouldn't vanish you at all. Okay, now yeah, run manager dot xlsx, and for example this is tc name, for example tc number, and tc name, tc name, tc description, tc description, and for example tc I would say flag. Okay, this is not, this is execution flag, for example execution flag. Okay, so I have written 4 methods, in 4 columns, guys. Okay, these are test case number and test case name, test case description, uh, test case description, and then flag. Okay, so let me highlight it, and here I will add a couple of methods. Okay, now for example test case number is, for example, method a, right? So test case number is 1, tc01, you can give any name, tc01, tc02, like that. Okay, how many methods are there, right? 5 methods are there, right? So for example let me say 5. Okay, this is my 5 methods. And test case name, for example, it should match, guys. This is very very important, because the method name that you are, that you have written inside of the class. Okay, you can write in any number of class, we are not bothered about it. Okay, this method name and this that you are, specifying over here should match. For example, this is method b, method c, and method d, and this is method e, a b c d e. Okay, now description, for example, I'm just adding like this. Okay, now execution flag. Okay, so here it is very easy, right? So comparing with going to the class level saying that enable equal to false, or going to the XML file saying that exclude tag, this is very difficult. But if you have Excel sheet, this is going to be very easy for you, right? So we can manipulate the Excel file very very easily. That means for automation testers, or for manual testers also, this is going to be very easy job for them. For example, if someone is manual tester, want to decide couple of test case to execute, couple of test case not to execute, so for him going to class level and touching some code and from XML file, he may get confused. But here, if for anybody, whether it is manual tester, automation tester, this is going to be very helpful and easy to track it, right? Now here, what I will do, the flag I want to execute as yes. I don't want to execute this one, or else you can also specify true or false also. It shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so but here I am using yes, no, and for example this is also yes, I want to execute, I don't want to execute this, I want to execute this. Okay, so in this case, method a should be executed, method b should not be executed, method c should be executed, and method d should not be executed, method e should be executed. But we need to write a reusable component, guys, then only we can perform these actions. I don't think so I have written that, but I need to implement right now. Okay, so what I will do, so here I cannot write like this, right? So this is not going to work out for us. Okay, so we have to write this logic, by reading from the Excel file. So input of this particular method is going to be get name. That means I will pass the method name. Okay, or else you can put true or false also, because inside of the Excel method only, you can you can decide if true means true will come, false means false will come. Okay, so either of you can do, but it's your choice how you want to proceed. For example, uh, you can see something like this Excel utility. We don't have this one. I think, let me check. I should have one Excel utility. I think we have implemented in this particular listeners only, right? Somewhere. Yes, this Excel util. Okay, so let me try to use that. This can be helpful or not. So Excel util. Okay, uh, dot initialize, because I need to initialize my file. Okay, file name is this one. This file name is right. So I have to specify this file name. Okay, and also sheet name. Okay, sheet name is we have given something rn, right? So rn. Okay, now this will throw the exception surrounded with try catch. That's fine. It shouldn't be an issue for it. And then once this is done, let me say dot close workbook. This step is also done. Now we need to write the reusable component where I will pass the method name, and it should give us the uh, flag whether it is s or true. The corresponding, I will pass only the method name. The corresponding value I have to get it. Okay. So for that particular thing, what I'm going to do, let me say something like this. Uh, String, because string, there's a string, right? So this status is going to become like a string. Okay, but if you write like a boolean true or false, right? So what happens, you can directly write it over here. Okay, but for the first time I'm going to go in this way. Okay, so string flag execution flag, you can say something like this: execution flag equal to excel utility dot, this method is not there, I have to implement that. Okay, excel utility dot get execution status of method, execution status of method. For example, this method, right? For this method I want to get the status of it. Okay, so simply say control C and pass it. Okay, every method name before executing, it will be passed to the this particular method. Okay, so now if this one equals to yes, then only you set it as true, else you set it as a false. Okay, so at runtime what will happen? So before executing of each and every test case, this one will call this particular method. For example, this line will be called a method. So s is there, so will be executed. Else it will execute as a false. Okay, so if no is there, it will set to false. Okay, all we need is, we're done with everything. Only what we need to do is this method has to be written inside of the Excel file. Okay, so let me go inside of this and let me write that particular one. Okay, so here we have written so many methods, guys. Let me write the last one: public void, not void, it should be string, right? So because we need to pass the execution flag, right? So here it should be string, and string, what is the input it is going to get it, this input, right? So because every method before executing I am passing that name, that means this is like an input, this is like an output. This input is from the transform method, and output will be from excel file utility, right? So here I will say string, here I will say string method name, method to be executed, anything is fine, method to be executed. Okay, now we need to implement the logic, we need to implement the logic. Okay, now we need to iterate over the each and every rows, right? I need to find out till where exactly this a is available. Okay, so in order to do that, I know that I have to iterate over the entire uh, you know iterate over the entire excel sheet. Okay, in order to do that, we can do one thing. I think, one second, let's see. We need to design the logic first. Get multiple rows that are not readed. Get password. Okay, we have written in a different manner. So we have this logic. What it's doing, this one, earlier we have discussed one example where we used to pass username and it used to give us the password. Okay, so this logic is going to work out for sure, I guess. Okay, let me see. Let me copy this logic and let me add it in the end. Okay. Okay, now let me take it over here. Okay, first I need to decide method to be executed. For example, status. This status I'm gonna execute. Okay, let's see what is the logic I have written over here. I equal to 0 till last row number. Okay, that's fine. And rows equal to get of row. That's fine. Cell equal to get cell 0. That's fine. If cell string value. Okay, this should be not 0 guys, it should be 1. Okay, because I need to get from here. Earlier I have username password over here. There's a reason I have written that logic, but this time this is going to be 1. Okay, now if it is equal to this one, uh, this should be value 0 1 2 3, right? So these three you have to specify that. Okay, that's it. If it is equal to this one, and the flag will be returned. Okay, now what I can do, come over here, let me make it right static. Okay, so that's it guys, so we are done. So now if I run the program, what should happen? Method A should be executed, method C should be executed, method E should be executed, B and D should not be executed. So I'm going to run the program guys, and let's see what is the output we're going to get it. You can see A, C, E. That means A method is executed, C method is executed, E method is executed. B and D got ignored because from here we have set up the logic. Okay, so that's why I said earlier, Excel reusable components are very important. If you want to go ahead with if you want to work at framework level, means this is going to be very important. Okay, so all we have done is simply we pass it the test case name and we got the corresponding value, whether it should be a set yes or no. For example, if I do it in the reverse order, for example, this one I don't want to execute, and this one I don't want to execute, and this one I want to execute, and this one I don't want to execute. Okay, now in this case B and D only be two test cases which should be executed. Run the program and you can see uh, B and D got executed. Okay, the rest of things got skipped and failed because of the things that I have done inside of this particular thing. Okay, so I hope it is clear, guys. This is very powerful, uh, you know, powerful method in the entire TestNG where you can enter, at runtime you can control which test case to execute, which test case not to execute, how many number of time to execute, everything you can. For example, if this method has to be executed for 4 times, all you can do, you can specify the you can specify the number over here, or else you can in the test data you can specify. For example, this is a test data sheet, right? And if you have a same template over here and copy paste, for example, instead of testing, for example, this is uh, user id, username username, and this is password field. Okay, you can set up the data and you can call the appropriate columns in the map. Okay, because we have discussed also about the how to get entire data in the map and list of map also. Okay, so you can implement as your wish, guys. So this transform method is very powerful and useful in the entire TestNG. Okay, so I hope you're clear and you can implement this in your project. Okay, so thanks team, thanks for your time.